Great Scott, what time is it? It's October 21st, 2015. We are in the future. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about 25 different things that Back to the Future predicted. And some of them came true, some of them didn't. We're also going to be talking about 7 different facts or trivia that you may have not known about the movie. Alright, anyway, let's start with the prediction number 1. And this is the big one. Number 1, hoverboards. Nope, still no hoverboards. And of course there was a commercial from Lexus that kind of demonstrated a prototype. No, doesn't count. No hoverboards. Number 2, big screen television and video conferencing. Yes, we have that and it's awesome. I'm gonna go watch it right now actually. I'll be back. Number 3, news drones or drones in general. Yes, we all have them now, or at least some of us do, and they're awesome. They're kind of fun to fly. Number 4, hands-free gaming, and that's also true. We now have things like Xbox Kinect or even Oculus Rift where you can control things by moving your head. So yes, hands-free gaming is a thing. Number 5, video glasses. Yep, things like Google Glass and Oculus Rift, once again, are the video glasses of the future. Or the present, depending on when you are. Our obsession with 3D movies and sequels, and that's a thing as well, I guess, because we have too many sequels and almost every movie is now remade into 3D. Yeah. Handheld tablet computers, and that's a yes as well. Unfortunately, in the movie is only a very short scene where they actually show something that looks like an iPad, but today we all have them. Video chatting, and that's also a thing. Things like Skype, chat roulette, or even FaceTime, they're all a thing that we use every day. Number 9, wall-mounted TVs with many channels. Multi-channel TVs are a thing where almost all of us have them, and almost all of us have flat screen TVs that usually are on the walls. Number 10 is a big one. There's a scene in the movie where everyone is consumed with electronics. They're trying to have dinner, but no one is listening. Everyone is using their little gadgets, their little glasses, and that is the future as well. Today we have smartphones. That's something that didn't predict, but instead of smartphones in the movie, they have the video glasses. So being consumed with electronics and not being able to communicate with anyone anymore is a thing. Number 11 is also a big one, and that's flying cars. Now, yes, there are prototypes, and yes, you can actually buy a flying car that is technically a plane that looks like a car, but it's not a thing that everyone uses every day, so it's a no. However, number 12, robotic gas stations, is kind of a yes. There's actually a lot of prototypes around the world where gas station is automatic and it controls itself, so that's a yes. And also number 13, alternative fuel for cars. There's so many alternatives today, including electric cars, cars that run on hydrogen, and cars that run on, obviously, waste, which is also portrayed in the movie as well. Number 14, dehydrated foods that can then become normal foods when you rehydrate them. Not a thing, unless you're an astronaut. In space, they do use those, but not on Earth. Number 15 is fingerprint security, and yes, that's also a thing. If you have a new iPhone or if you have a new iPad, they're all controlled with fingerprints. Number 16, they predicted there's going to be no more lawyers. No, still lawyers around, unfortunately. Number 17, fax machines are the main means of communication for everyone. Everyone has many fax machines in every room. Last time I used a fax machine, or actually someone asked me to use a fax machine, I emailed them back saying, can I just take a photo with my smartphone and then email it to you back? Because I have never seen a fax machine in my life. And I'm pretty old. Number 18, CD discs or CD media. Nope, they outlived their life, they're gone as well. Number 19, the style, especially things like double ties. The style definitely failed. I mean, I have never seen anyone wear anything like that, and for the best. Number 20, the movie also failed to predict the biggest invention of the century, the internet. Unfortunately, there's nothing of that nature in the movie. And that's of course including things like smartphones, because in the actual film we see Marty McFly use a payphone to call someone. That's a no. Number 21, Cubs win the World Series. I'm gonna say no, even though it's not over yet, but I think that's a no. Number 22, smart clothes, specifically clothes that can dry themselves or that can adjust their own size. Nope. Number 23, money. In the movie, we only see one type of currency, but today we have so many varieties. We have alternative currencies, we have things like bitcoins. So that unfortunately was also not very well predicted. Number 24, accurate weather reports, and specifically weather control. None of those things are still a reality. And I think this is best summarized by Marty McFly's quote, "Since when can the weatherman predict the weather, let alone the future?" And lastly, number 25, rejuvenation clinics, specifically places where you can essentially restore your organs. Now, that's not really a thing, but we do have a huge explosion of cosmetic clinics where you can sort of restore your youthful appearance by using things like Botox. Botox was actually officially released in 2002, so it is a new invention, and Botox clinics, and specifically cosmetic clinics, are now a reality as well. So surprisingly, many of these predictions actually did come true. Unfortunately, some of them are still in the air, like for example, Cubs winning the World Series. We'll find out soon enough. But other than that, I think this is a pretty accurate prediction overall. And now let's talk about 7 trivia facts that you may have not known about the movie, even if you're a big fan of the series. And the first trivia is the relation between Doc and Marty. So how did they actually meet? It's not really portrayed in the series at all, but if you actually read the background story or if you read the script, you find out that Marty actually snuck into Doc's lab when he was only a teenager, when he was only about 11 or 12 years old. And he was so fascinated with everything he saw inside the lab that his mind was completely blown. And when Doc actually found him, instead of, calling the police or anything, he realized that they are 2 black sheep in their community. Nobody accepted Doc and nobody accepted Marty. They were too different to relate to anyone else, so they actually related to each other and they became kind of like best friends. And Doc actually hired Marty to then, tend the dog, watch the lab, and clean up and stuff. Trivia number 2, the president at that time was Ronald Reagan, and he was actually offered the role in the movie because he was an actor previously before he became a president. He obviously refused the role, but nevertheless, he used the quote from the movie during his State of the Union address in '86. So it's actually kind of fun that he actually used the movie to talk about the future of the United States. Trivia number 3 is that Elijah Wood actually made his first movie appearance in this film. You may have not actually noticed him because he's this little guy right here. He is the little kid in here. He's only 8 years old, and this was his first movie ever. And if you don't know who Elijah Wood is, he's Frodo from Lord of the Rings. But in this movie, he's barely even a halfling. Number 4 is that Princess Diana actually attended the premiere of this movie, and she's also mentioned in the movie's newspaper. In one of the little newspapers that you get to read, it says that Queen Diana is visiting the United States in 2015. So in the movie, they thought she was going to become a queen. Unfortunately, as you may know, she actually passed away many years ago, so that never really happened. But it's still nonetheless a fun fact that she actually got to meet the cast, and she got to talk to Steven Spielberg as well. Number 5 is that the original time machine was actually supposed to be not even a car. It was supposed to be a fridge. And they were supposed to fit inside the fridge together with a dog. Or actually a chimp. Original animal was a chimp, but they changed it to a dog. And no, it wasn't going to be bigger on the inside, if that's what you're thinking. But in the end, they decided to go with a Delorean, which is a sports car. And they chose it because it actually resembled a UFO, a look they were going for in terms of script. Number 6. The original actor who played Marty was actually not Michael J. Fox. It was Eric Stoltz, and this is the person you see on the screen. And the thing is, they filmed a lot of scenes with this guy until Steven Spielberg and a few other people responsible for producing the movie realized that he wasn't what they were looking for. He was way too serious. He took the role a little bit too seriously. He actually refused to respond to his own name and insisted on being called Marty every time 24/7. And at some point, they asked him to leave the scene and never come back. They then reshot all of these scenes with Michael J. Fox, and it actually cost them $3 million to reshoot everything. But in the end, everyone loved him. And lastly, number 7, everyone loves Back to the Future, apparently, even the Buddhist monks. So according to Michael J. Fox, when he was in Bhutan, which is actually a country in Southeast Asia, and he was going through a jungle with a guide, he encountered several monks. Monks that always live in the jungle. They never leave anywhere else. They're always there praying. And when he saw him, they pointed and they screamed, "Marty McFly, Marty McFly." So they've recognized him and they actually received him and had a lot of good things to say about him and his movie. In other words, it seems like everyone knows the movie. And if you don't know the movie, you have to go and watch the series. There's only 3 of them. They're absolutely amazing. And they transcend time because they're just awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, and learn more about Back to the Future because that series is a must watch. And remember, your future is whatever you make it. So make it a good one. And one last thing, if you're still confused about your path and you're not sure what to do in life, just remember, where we are going, we don't need roads.